My wife's new perfume is called Secrets, and it's as subtle as a punch to the face. I'm sitting in our kitchen at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning, watching Marissa apply another coat of lipstick she definitely didn't wear for me. She's checking her phone every 30 seconds, smiling at messages I'm not allowed to see. The coffee tastes like betrayal, but maybe that's just my imagination running wild again. Working late tonight, she announces without looking up. Client dinner? Which client? I ask, because I'm a masochist who enjoys watching his wife lie to his face. The Morrison account, you wouldn't know them. I know every client at Henderson & Associates. I've been writing copy for that agency for 8 years, 3 years longer than Marissa's been climbing their corporate ladder with her manicured nails and strategic networking events. Morrison Industries dropped us 6 months ago. Have fun, I say, because what else can you say when your marriage has become performance art? She kisses my cheek, leaving a red mark I'll scrub off later, and clicks out the door in heels that cost more than my monthly car payment. Through the window, I watch her check her reflection in the car mirror one more time before driving away to whatever lie she's living today. My name is Nate Lawson. I'm 43 years old. I write advertising copy that convinces people to buy things they don't need, and my wife is having an affair with a personal trainer named Cal White, who posts shirtless selfies on Instagram like he's auditioning for a protein powder commercial. I know about Cal because Marissa left her laptop open last week. I know about their Tuesday and Thursday sessions because I found the gym membership receipt in her purse. I know she tells him I'm boring and predictable because I read their text messages while she was in the shower, singing off-key like she used to do when we were happy. What I don't know is what I'm going to do about it. Ray Martinez, my only real friend at the agency, leans against my cubicle wall holding 2 cups of coffee that smell infinitely better than the swill I made at home. You look like someone stole your dog and sold it for parts, he says, handing me the good coffee. Marissa's working late again. Ray's eyebrows climb toward his receding hairline. He's our IT guy, which means he knows everyone's secrets and keeps them locked away behind sarcastic comments and knowing looks. The Morrison account? He asks. You heard? Brother, Morrison hasn't been our client since spring. But hey, maybe she's working on getting them back through the power of positive thinking and whatever the hell else she does at those networking events. The networking events? Right. Marissa joined something called the Open Circle 6 months ago, a group of professional women supporting each other's careers and personal growth. They meet twice a week at rotating locations, always somewhere upscale, always somewhere I'm not invited. You ever hear of the Open Circle? I ask Ray. He nearly chokes on his coffee. The what now? Marissa's professional group, women empowering women or some such bull crap. Ray sets down his coffee and gives me a look I can't quite read. Nate, buddy, I think we need to have a conversation. But not here. 3 hours later, we're sitting in Murphy's Tavern, a dive bar that serves honest beer and minds its own business. Ray's been quiet since we left the office, which is unusual for someone who normally has an opinion about everything from office politics to the weather. The Open Circle, he says finally, isn't exactly what your wife told you it is. Explain. My ex-wife Jennifer was in it. Before she became my ex-wife, if you catch my drift. I catch it. I don't like where it's landing. It's not a professional group, Nate. It's more like... He pauses, choosing his words carefully. It's like a club for married women who want to explore their options without technically getting divorced. The beer suddenly tastes like sawdust. Options. They call them hall passes. One night, no questions asked, no consequences. Except there are always consequences, and it's never just one night. I think about Marissa's new clothes, her gym membership, her sudden interest in yoga and self-improvement, her phone that's always locked, always face down, always just out of reach. How do you know all this? Because Jennifer told me, right before she told me she was leaving me for her yoga instructor. Apparently, the Open Circle taught her she deserved better than a boring IT guy who actually loved her. We drink in silence for a while. The bar fills up with the usual crowd of office workers, drowning their daily disappointments in alcohol and fried food. I watch them and wonder, how many are going home to lies? How many are living the lies themselves? There's something else, Ray says. The husbands have their own group, informal, but they meet sometimes. Compare notes, share war stories. It's not pretty, Nate. You mean there are other guys like me? Guys who found out their wives were treating marriage like a part-time job? Yeah, there are others. I finish my beer and signal for another. I want to meet them. Ray shakes his head. No, you don't. Trust me on this. Yes, I do, because I'm tired of being the only one who doesn't know what game we're playing. That night, I'm sitting in my living room pretending to watch television when Marissa comes home. She's showered recently. Her hair is still damp, and she smells like hotel soap instead of her usual perfume. "How was the client dinner?" I ask, without looking away from the screen. "Productive? We might get them back." She's a good liar. I'll give her that. If I didn't know better, I'd believe the sincerity in her voice, the way she kicks off her heels and stretches like she's genuinely tired from a long day of legitimate work. "That's great, honey, really great." She looks at me then, and for a moment I see something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe, or a recognition that we're both pretending harder than we used to. "I'm going to take a bath," she says. "Long day." While she's upstairs running water and probably texting Cal about how well their client dinner went, I'm in her purse looking for evidence I don't really want to find. Credit card receipts from restaurants we've never been to, a hotel key card from the Marriott downtown, and tucked into the side pocket like a love letter from hell, a handwritten note on expensive stationery. "One night with Cal, then I'm yours again. Promise. M." The note is in Marissa's handwriting. It's dated today. I sit in my kitchen holding this piece of paper that represents the end of my marriage, and something strange happens. I start laughing. Not the bitter laugh of a broken man, but the genuine amusement of someone who's just figured out the punchline to a joke that's been building for months. Marissa thinks she's being clever. She thinks she's found a loophole in our marriage vows, a way to have her cake and eat it too. She thinks I'm the same boring, predictable husband who'll never figure out what she's really doing at those networking events. She's about to learn how wrong she is. When she comes downstairs in her robe, skin pink from the hot water, and lies, I'm waiting with the note in my hand and a smile she's never seen before. "Marissa," I say, "we need to talk about your hall pass." The color drains from her face like someone pulled a plug. "I don't know what you mean." "Sure you do. The open circle, Cal, the hotel keycard in your purse, the Morrison account that dropped us 6 months ago." She sits down hard in the chair across from me, and for the first time in months, I have her complete attention. "Nate, I can explain." "No need. I understand perfectly. You want a free pass to sleep with your personal trainer, and you want me to pretend it never happened. You want to keep our house, our shared bank account, and our marriage while you explore your options with Captain Protein Shake." "It's not like that." "Then what's it like, Marissa? Help me understand." She's crying now, but they're not tears of remorse. They're tears of frustration that her perfectly planned deception has been discovered by her boring, predictable husband. The other women, they said their husbands understood, that it made their marriages stronger. The other women lied. I stand up and walk to the kitchen counter where I've left my car keys. Marissa watches me with growing alarm. "Where are you going?" "To give you exactly what you want," I say. "I'm going to drive you to Cal's apartment myself. Make sure you get your one night, no questions asked." "Nate, you don't understand." "Oh, but I do." "You want to play games with our marriage? Fine. Let's play." I grab her coat from the closet and hold it out to her. "Get dressed. Cal's expecting you, isn't he?" She stares at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. Or maybe I've finally found it. "You're serious." "Dead serious. You wrote the note, you made the plan, you bought the hall pass. Time to use it." 20 minutes later, I'm standing outside Cal White's apartment building watching my wife walk through the lobby doors. She keeps looking back at me through the glass, confusion and fear written across her face like a neon sign. I wave goodbye and smile. She never saw me smile like that before. That was her first clue that everything had changed. Cal White lives in one of those modern apartment complexes that tries too hard to look expensive. All glass and steel and fake marble. The kind of place that attracts people who care more about appearances than substance. Perfect for a personal trainer who thinks abs are a personality trait. I don't drive away immediately. Instead, I park across the street and call Ray. "It's 10:30 at night," he answers. "This better be good." "Marissa's upstairs with Cal right now. I drove her here myself." Silence on the other end. Then, "Jesus Christ, Nate, what are you doing?" "Playing the game by her rules." "But I need to know more about this open circle thing. You said there were other husbands?" "Yeah, but I want to meet them. Tonight." Ray sighs so hard I can hear it through the phone. "There's a guy named Todd Peterson. His wife, Emma, is in the circle. And Eric Kowalski, married to Lisa. They've been dealing with this situation for a while." "Where can I find them?" "Probably at Flanagan's. It's where they go to drink and complain about their lives. But Nate, these guys aren't exactly role models for healthy coping mechanisms." "Neither am I, apparently. Text me the address. Flanagan's is the kind of bar where middle-aged men go to feel sorry for themselves. Dim lighting, sports on every screen, and the lingering smell of disappointment and fried onions. I find Todd and Eric exactly where Ray said they'd be, hunched over whiskey glasses like they're praying to the alcohol gods for guidance. Todd Peterson looks like an accountant who's given up on life. Thinning hair, soft around the middle, wearing a polo shirt that's seen better days. Eric Kowalski has the appearance of a man who used to be in shape, but has been fighting a losing battle with beer and middle age. "You must be Nate," Todd says when I approach their table. "Ray called ahead. Heard you joined the club nobody wants to be in." I sit down and order a whiskey. "How long have you guys known?" "About our wives screwing around?" Eric laughs bitterly. "Todd's been dealing with it for 8 months. I'm coming up on a year. And you just accept it?" Todd swirls his drink like he's looking for answers in the amber liquid. "What choice do we have? Divorce means losing half of everything, paying alimony, seeing our kids every other weekend. This way we keep our houses and our dignity." "Do you, though? Keep your dignity?" Eric leans forward, and I can smell the alcohol on his breath. "You think you're better than us? You think driving your wife to her boyfriend's apartment makes you some kind of hero?" "I think it makes me someone who's tired of being lied to." "Well, congratulations. Now you know the truth. Your wife thinks you're boring, your marriage is a joke, and there's a whole club of women laughing about it while they duck their personal trainers and yoga instructors." The whiskey burns going down, but not as much as Eric's words. "Tell me about the club," I say. Todd and Eric exchange glances. "There's something they're not telling me. It's not just about the affairs," Todd says finally. "The open circle. They have these parties, upscale events where the women bring their guests, and sometimes they invite the husbands to watch." My blood turns to ice water. Watch? They call it transparency. No secrets, no lies, just honest exploration of human sexuality. Eric's voice drips with sarcasm. "Emma went to one last month, came home and told me all about it. Every single detail." "Why would they do that?" "Power," Todd says simply. "It's about power. They want us to know exactly what we're missing, exactly what we're not good enough to provide." I think about Marissa upstairs with Cal, probably telling him about her boring husband who was stupid enough to drive her to his apartment. I think about the note in her purse, written like she was doing me a favor by limiting her betrayal to one night. "When's the next party?" Todd shakes his head. "You don't want to go down that road, Nate. Trust me." "When?" Eric finishes his drink and signals for another. "This Saturday, some mansion in Riverside Heights. Lisa's been talking about it all week." "I want to see it." "No, you don't." "Yes, I do, because I'm done being the husband who doesn't know what game we're playing." Todd pulls out his phone and shows me a text message from his wife. It's an address in Riverside Heights, one of the city's most expensive neighborhoods, followed by, "Don't wait up, exploring new horizons tonight." "That's where they're meeting this Saturday," Todd says. "Big house, lots of rooms, very private. The kind of place where rich people go to do things they don't want their neighbors to know about." "You've been there?" "Once. Emma insisted I come, said it would be good for our relationship." Todd's laugh is hollow. "Turns out watching your wife with another man isn't actually therapeutic. Who knew?" Eric nods grimly. "Lisa dragged me to one too. Worst night of my life, but also the most educational. You learn things about your wife you never wanted to know." "Like what?" "Like how much she enjoys humiliating you in front of strangers. Like how creative she can be when she's trying to hurt you. Like how little your 20 years of marriage means when there's a younger man with better abs in the room." The whiskey isn't helping anymore. If anything, it's making the situation feel more surreal, like I'm watching someone else's life fall apart instead of living through my own. "I'm going to that party," I announce. "Bad idea," Todd says. "Terrible idea," Eric agrees. "Maybe, but I'm tired of being the only one who doesn't know what's really happening in my own marriage." I finish my drink and stand to leave. Todd grabs my arm. "If you're really going to do this, don't go alone, and don't go unarmed." "Unarmed?" Eric pulls out his phone and shows me a video recording app. "Evidence, brother. If you're going to watch your marriage die, at least document it for the divorce proceedings." I drive home through empty streets thinking about Marissa and Cal, about Todd and Eric, about the party this Saturday where my wife will probably humiliate me in front of strangers for sport. When I pull into my driveway, all the lights in the house are off except for the porch light Marissa left on before she went to explore her options. I sit in my car for a long time, staring at the house we bought together 7 years ago when we still believed in forever. The mortgage we split, the garden she planted, the kitchen where we used to cook dinner together and talk about our days. All of it built on a foundation that was apparently more fragile than I realized. My phone buzzes with a text from Marissa. "Staying at Cal's tonight, don't wait up." I text back, "Have fun, see you tomorrow." But I won't be waiting around tomorrow. I'll be planning for Saturday night when I finally get to see exactly what my wife thinks of our marriage. And she'll get to see exactly what her boring, predictable husband is capable of when he stops pretending to be nice. Marissa comes home Friday morning while I'm making coffee, trying to look casual like she just went for an early morning jog instead of spending the night screwing her personal trainer. She's wearing the same clothes from yesterday. Her makeup is smudged, and she has that satisfied glow that used to be reserved for me. "Good morning," she says, like this is normal. Like wives come home from other men's beds every day and expect their husbands to pour them coffee. "Morning. How was your night of personal exploration?" She stops in the doorway, studying my face for signs of anger or hurt. She won't find any. I've moved beyond those emotions into something colder and more focused. "It was educational," she says carefully. "Good. Education is important. Learn anything interesting?" "Nate, we should probably talk about this." "What's to talk about? You wanted a hall pass, you used it, just like you wrote in your little note." She sits down across from me, and I can see her trying to figure out what game I'm playing now. The problem is, I'm not playing her game anymore. I'm playing my own. "You're being very understanding about this," she says. "I'm being very honest about this. There's a difference." "What does that mean?" I slide a piece of paper across the table. It's a printout from our bank account showing a $5,000 transfer to a new checking account in my name only. "It means I'm done pretending this marriage is something it's not. You want to explore your options? Great. I'm exploring mine too." The color drains from her face as she stares at the bank statement. "You can't just take our money." "Half of our money. The half that belongs to the boring, predictable husband you've been lying to for months." "Nate, this is crazy. People have open marriages all the time. It doesn't have to mean what? That you've been treating me like an idiot? That you've been laughing about me with your little club? That you think I'm too stupid to figure out what you're really doing?" She opens her mouth to deny it, then closes it again. We both know there's no point in more lies. The open circle isn't just about affairs, is it, Marissa? It's about humiliation. It's about making your husbands feel small and worthless while you explore your options with younger, fitter, more exciting men. It's not like that. Then what's it like? Help me understand why my wife thinks it's acceptable to duck another man and then come home and expect me to make her coffee. The word duck hangs in the air between us like a slap. I don't usually talk to her like that, but then again, she doesn't usually come home from other men's beds either. "I think I should stay at my sister's for a few days," she says quietly. "I think that's a great idea. Give us both some space to think about what we want from this marriage." She goes upstairs to pack, and I can hear her on the phone with someone. Probably Cal, or maybe one of her open circle friends, telling them about her husband's unexpected reaction to her night of exploration. While she's packing, I'm making plans of my own. Ray meets me at Murphy's Tavern that afternoon, sliding into the booth across from me with the expression of someone who's about to deliver bad news. "I did some digging into this open circle thing," he says without preamble. "It's worse than I thought." "How much worse?" "It's not just a group of wives having affairs. It's organized, Nate. They have rules, membership fees, a whole system for recruiting new couples and managing the activities." He pulls out his laptop and shows me a private website. The Open Circle's homepage features professional photos of attractive couples at upscale events, all smiles and expensive clothes. "Membership is $500 a month per couple," Ray continues. "They have regular parties, workshops on relationship exploration, and a private social network where members share experiences and advice." I scroll through testimonials from happy couples who've discovered the joy of open marriage through the Circle's guidance. It's all very polished, very professional, very predatory. "There's more," Ray says. "I found some forum discussions from wives talking about their husbands' reactions. They have strategies, Nate. Ways to manipulate guys into accepting the situation, methods for breaking down resistance, such as gradual introduction to the concept, starting with theoretical discussions about open marriage, then suggesting it might strengthen the relationship, Then introducing the idea of a one-time hall pass, making the husband feel like he's being progressive and understanding instead of betrayed and humiliated. Every word Ray says feels like a punch to the gut. Marissa didn't just decide to have an affair. She followed a playbook designed to manipulate me into accepting it. They also share techniques for dealing with husbands who don't cooperate, Ray continues. Financial pressure, social isolation, threats of divorce, and if all else fails, public humiliation at the parties. Public humiliation? Some of the wives bring their husbands to watch, not because they want transparency, but because they want to break them completely. Make them feel so worthless and inadequate that they'll accept anything rather than lose their wives. I think about Todd and Eric, broken men drinking themselves to death while their wives explore new horizons with younger men. I think about Marissa's suggestion that I come to one of the parties, framed as an opportunity for us to be more honest with each other. I want to go to tomorrow night's party, I tell Ray. That's exactly what they want you to do. They want you broken and humiliated, begging for scraps of affection from a wife who sees you as a financial convenience. Then they're going to be disappointed. Ray studies my face, and I can see him recognizing something he's never seen before. What are you planning, Nate? I'm planning to give them exactly what they think they want. A front row seat to watch my marriage die. And then they're going to learn that boring, predictable husbands can be full of surprises. That evening, I drive to Cal's gym. It's one of those boutique fitness centers that cater to people with more money than sense, all exposed brick and industrial lighting and equipment that cost more than most people's cars. Cal is in the middle of a training session with a young woman who's clearly more interested in his abs than his exercise advice. He sees me through the floor-to-ceiling windows and says something to his client before walking outside. "You must be Nate," he says, extending his hand like we're old friends meeting for drinks. I don't shake it. "We need to talk," I say. "Look, man, I want you to know that Marissa and we're not trying to hurt anyone. This is just about two adults exploring a connection." A connection? Yeah, physical, emotional, spiritual, the kind of deep connection that can't be constrained by traditional relationship boundaries. I stare at him for a long moment. He's younger than me, better looking, in much better shape. The kind of man women notice and men envy. But he's also the kind of man who thinks sleeping with married women is a spiritual experience. How many married women are you spiritually connected to, Cal? I don't think that's really your business. My wife is my business, and I'm curious about the man who's ducking her whether I think it's a good idea or not. His friendly demeanor slips a little. Marissa said you were okay with this arrangement. Marissa says a lot of things. Most of them are lies. Look, if you're not comfortable with the situation, maybe you should talk to your wife instead of confronting me. I'm not confronting you, Cal. I'm educating myself. Marissa tells me you're everything I'm not. Younger, fitter, more exciting. I wanted to see what I'm competing with. He relaxes slightly, probably thinking this is going to turn into one of those conversations where the older husband acknowledges his inadequacies and gracefully steps aside. He's wrong. The thing is, I continue, I don't think you're competition at all. I think you're a predator who targets married women because single women are too smart to fall for your spiritual connection bullcrap. His face hardens. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? How many women from the open circle are you spiritually connected to, Cal? How many husbands have you helped their wives humiliate? I think this conversation is over. He turns to walk back into the gym, and I follow him. His client looks up nervously as we approach, sensing the tension. Actually, I think we're just getting started, I say loudly enough for everyone in the gym to hear. I think everyone here should know that Cal White specializes in ducking married women whose husbands pay for their gym memberships. The gym goes quiet. Cal's face turns red with embarrassment and anger. You need to leave now. Or what? You'll call the police? Tell them a husband came to confront the man who's screwing his wife? I'm sure that'll go over well. I pull out my phone and start recording. For the record, Cal, I want you to know that I'm not some pathetic cuckold who's going to sit quietly while you destroy my marriage. I'm the husband who's going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man you are. Turn off the camera. No. See, you and my wife think I'm boring and predictable. You think I'll just accept whatever humiliation you dish out because I'm too weak to fight back. You're about to learn how wrong you are. I turn to address the gym. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Cal White, personal trainer and homewrecker. He's currently ducking my wife as part of something called the Open Circle, where married women explore their options while their husbands pay the bills. Cal lunges for my phone, but I step back, still recording. And there's the real Cal White, everyone. Not so spiritual when someone calls him out in public, is he? Security arrives, a bored-looking guy in his 20s who clearly doesn't get paid enough to deal with domestic drama. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave," he says to me. "No problem. I got what I came for." I stop recording and head for the door, but turn back for one final comment. "Oh, and Cal? Tomorrow night at the party? I'll be watching and recording. Hope you're ready for your close-up." The drive home feels like the first honest thing I've done in months. I'm not the same man who drove his wife to her lover's apartment 2 nights ago. That man was still trying to save a marriage that died months ago. This man is planning its funeral, and everyone who helped eliminate it is going to be in attendance. Saturday evening arrives with the kind of crisp autumn air that makes everything feel possible. I'm sitting in my car outside a mansion in Riverside Heights, watching well-dressed couples walk through the front door like they're attending a charity gala instead of an organized betrayal convention. Todd and Eric are in Todd's car 2 blocks away, connected to me via a group text we started this afternoon. Ray is at home, monitoring the situation remotely, and ready to call for help if things go sideways. The mansion belongs to someone named Victoria Sterling, according to the property records Ray pulled. She's a divorce attorney who specializes in high-net-worth cases, which explains both her expensive house and her interest in destroying marriages for profit. My phone buzzes with a text from Marissa. "At the party. Wish you were here to see how beautiful this place is." I text back, "On my way." She responds immediately, "Really? I thought you might want to see what this is all about." "I do. See you soon." What she doesn't know is that I'm already here, that I've been watching her and Cal walk hand in hand through the front door like they're the happy couple instead of the affair partners. What she doesn't know is that Todd, Eric, and I have spent the afternoon planning our approach to tonight's festivities. What she's about to learn is that boring, predictable husbands sometimes have the most surprising reactions. I text Todd, "Going in. Give me 10 minutes, then follow." His response, "You sure about this? Too late to back out now?" I walk up the circular driveway like I belong here, past the valet parking and the discreet security guard who nods at me like I'm just another husband coming to watch his marriage die for entertainment. The front door opens into a world that's designed to make infidelity feel sophisticated. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, classical music playing softly in the background, well-dressed people holding wine glasses, and having conversations that sound important and meaningful. It's all very civilized, very adult, very modern. It's also completely ducking obscene. I spot Marissa immediately. She's wearing a black dress I've never seen before, something expensive and revealing that she certainly didn't buy for our anniversary dinner last month. She's standing next to Cal, who's cleaned up nicely for the occasion, and they're talking to another couple who look like they stepped out of a luxury car commercial. She sees me approaching, and her face lights up with what looks like genuine pleasure. "Nate, you came!" She kisses my cheek like we're at a normal party instead of a gathering designed to humiliate married men. "Cal, you remember my husband?" Cal extends his hand again, and this time I shake it, gripping just hard enough to let him know I haven't forgotten our conversation at the gym. "Glad you could make it," he says with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. "Wouldn't miss it for the world." Marissa introduces me to the other couple. James and Patricia something, both lawyers, both members of the Open Circle for 3 years. They have the relaxed confidence of people who've successfully normalized betrayal. "First time?" Patricia asks with the kind of smile that says she knows exactly how uncomfortable I must be. "First and last," I reply. James laughs. "That's what they all say. But once you see how liberating this lifestyle can be, how it removes all the jealousy and possessiveness that poison traditional marriage, you'll understand why we're all here. I'm starting to understand already. What I understand is that these people have convinced themselves that organized adultery is somehow more honest than regular adultery. They've created a whole philosophy around betrayal to make themselves feel better about being terrible people. The key," Patricia continues, "is communication. No secrets, no lies, just honest exploration of human sexuality within a supportive community." "No secrets," I repeat. I like that. My phone buzzes with a text from Todd. In position, Eric's covering the back. I excuse myself to get a drink, using the opportunity to scout the layout of the house. It's bigger than it looked from outside, with multiple wings and levels. Lots of private rooms where couples can explore their honest sexuality away from prying eyes. The kitchen is staffed by professional caterers who are clearly used to these kinds of events. They move efficiently and discreetly, making sure the guests have everything they need without acknowledging what's actually happening here. I find Todd near the bar, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else in the world. Emma's here with her yoga instructor, he says quietly. 23 years old, calls himself a spiritual guide. I helped pay for his certification. Where's Eric? Spotted Lisa heading upstairs with some guy she met on a dating app. He's trying to decide whether to follow them or set himself on fire. Neither. We stick to the plan. The plan is simple. Document everything, gather evidence, and make sure the world knows exactly what the open circle really is. No violence, no confrontation, just exposure. I pull out my phone and start the recording app Ray installed, the one that uploads everything to a secure cloud server in real time. Whatever happens tonight, there will be a permanent record. Ladies and gentlemen, a woman's voice announces over the sound system, welcome to tonight's Open Circle gathering. For our new attendees, tonight is about exploration, communication, and the celebration of human connection in all its forms. The voice belongs to Victoria Sterling, our hostess, a woman in her 50s who looks like she's never had a genuine emotion in her life. She's standing at the top of the main staircase, addressing the crowd like a queen addressing her subjects. As always, our motto is no judgment, no limits, no regrets. Tonight, we invite you to explore not just your desires, but your boundaries, to discover what you're truly capable of when you free yourself from the constraints of traditional morality. The crowd applauds politely. I record every word. For our husbands who are joining us tonight, this is an opportunity to see your wives as they truly are. Not as your possessions, but as independent sexual beings with their own needs and desires. Some of you may find this challenging. That's natural. Growth is always uncomfortable. More applause. I can see Marissa looking around for me, probably wondering what I think of Victoria's speech. But remember, gentlemen, this is about love. True love means wanting your partner to be fulfilled, even if that fulfillment comes from someone else. True love means putting their happiness above your own ego. I've heard enough. I push through the crowd toward the staircase, my phone still recording. Excuse me, I call out, loud enough for everyone to hear. Victoria looks down at me with mild annoyance. Yes? I have a question about true love. Of course, please share with the group. If true love means putting your partner's happiness above your own ego, why does this whole setup seem designed to humiliate husbands for the entertainment of their wives? The room goes quiet. Victoria's smile becomes strained. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, this isn't about love or communication or honest exploration. This is about power. This is about making men feel worthless while their wives duck other people for sport. Gasps from the crowd. Marissa appears at my elbow, her face pale with embarrassment. Nate, please don't do this. Don't do what? Tell the truth? Isn't this supposed to be about honesty? Victoria tries to regain control of the situation. Sir, if you're not comfortable with our community's values, perhaps this isn't the right environment for you. Oh, I'm very comfortable with your values. I think everyone should know exactly what they are. I turn to address the crowd, my phone capturing every face, every reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Open Circle, where married women come to humiliate their husbands while pretending it's about personal growth. Where divorce attorneys like our hostess Victoria Sterling recruit new clients by destroying marriages from the inside out. Security, Victoria calls. But I'm not done. Where personal trainers like Cal White target married women because single women are too smart to fall for their bullcrap. Where wives like mine lie to their husbands for months, following a playbook designed to manipulate us into accepting our own humiliation. The security guard from the front door appears, but he seems uncertain about what to do. This isn't exactly a situation covered in the employee handbook. And where husbands like me are supposed to smile and pretend we're okay with being treated like financial conveniences, while our wives explore their options with younger, fitter, more exciting men. I can see people pulling out their own phones now, some recording, others probably texting friends about the drama unfolding at Victoria Sterling's party. But here's the thing about boring, predictable husbands, I continue. Sometimes we surprise you. I pull out a thick manila envelope and start throwing papers into the air like confetti. Bank statements, credit card records, property deeds, insurance policies. Marissa, honey, remember how you wanted me to be more spontaneous? Surprise! I've been documenting every dollar you've spent on this lifestyle. Every hotel room, every dinner with Cal, every membership fee to this pathetic excuse for a social club. The papers flutter down around the crowd like snow. People are scrambling to pick them up, reading the evidence of financial infidelity alongside the sexual kind. And here's another surprise. I've been recording everything tonight. Every face, every name, every admission of adultery. And it's all being uploaded to a very public server where everyone can see exactly what the open circle really is. Victoria is screaming at security now, but it's too late. The damage is done, the truth is out, and there's no putting this particular genie back in the bottle. Marissa grabs my arm. You're destroying everything. No, sweetheart, you destroyed everything. I'm just making sure everyone knows about it. I head for the door, still recording, still talking. Oh, and one more thing. Cal, buddy, remember how you said this was about spiritual connection? I posted our conversation from the gym on social media this afternoon, along with the names and photos of every married woman you've been spiritually connecting with. Turns out their husbands weren't as understanding as you thought. The crowd parts as I walk through them. Some people looking shocked, others looking guilty, a few looking like they're reconsidering their life choices. Enjoy the rest of your party, everyone, and remember, no judgment, no limits, no regrets. I walk out into the cool night air feeling lighter than I have in months. Behind me, I can hear shouting, arguing, the sound of a carefully constructed lie falling apart. My phone buzzes with texts from Todd and Eric. Holy crap, man, that was incredible. But I'm not done yet. This was just the opening act. The real show starts tomorrow, when everyone wakes up to find their secrets scattered across the internet like leaves in a hurricane. Sunday morning arrives with the kind of hangover that comes from destroying your entire life in one evening, except I didn't drink anything stronger than club soda. The hangover is purely emotional, the after effects of finally telling the truth after months of swallowing lies. My phone has been buzzing nonstop since 6 a.m. Missed calls from Marissa, text messages from numbers I don't recognize, emails from people whose names I remember from last night's guest list. The video I uploaded is spreading faster than I expected, shared and reshared across social media platforms by people who apparently enjoy watching marriages explode in real time. I'm sitting in my kitchen, drinking coffee that tastes like victory, when Marissa's key turns in the front door. She looks like she hasn't slept, her expensive dress wrinkled, her makeup smeared, her carefully constructed image as disheveled as her marriage. We need to talk, she says, dropping her purse on the counter like she still lives here. I'm listening. You can't just destroy people's lives because you're angry. I didn't destroy anything, Marissa. I exposed what was already destroyed. She sits down across from me, and I can see her trying to find the right combination of words that will make me take back everything I said last night. The video, Nate, you have to take it down. Why would I do that? Because it's ruining innocent people. Patricia and James, they're getting divorced because of what you did. Victoria might lose her law license. Cal's gym is being boycotted. I sip my coffee and consider this information. And these are real people with real lives, not just characters in your revenge fantasy. Real people who spent months manipulating and humiliating their spouses for entertainment. Real people who built a business model around destroying marriages. Real people who thought they could treat their husbands like idiots without consequences. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like, Marissa? Help me understand how ducking your personal trainer while I paid for your gym membership was actually a beautiful expression of human sexuality. She starts crying, but they're angry tears, not remorseful ones. She's not sorry for what she did. She's sorry she got caught. You're being cruel. I'm being honest. Finally, after months of pretending I didn't know what you were doing, pretending I believed your lies, pretending our marriage meant something to you. It did mean something. It means everything. No, it doesn't. It means financial security and social respectability while you explore your options with younger men. It means having a reliable husband at home while you play single woman at your club meetings. I pull out my laptop and show her the video from last night. It has over 50,000 views already, with comments ranging from supportive to savage. The Open Circle's carefully maintained privacy has been shattered completely. Look at this comment, I say, pointing to the screen. My wife was in a group like this. Thank God someone finally exposed what these clubs really are. And this one. Every husband should see this video. This is what modern feminism looks like when nobody's watching. You're enjoying this. I'm enjoying the truth. For the first time in months, everyone knows exactly what's been happening in our marriage. What do you want from me, Nate? What will it take for you to stop this? I want you to leave. Pack your things, move in with Cal or Victoria or whoever will have you, and start the divorce proceedings. I want our marriage to be as dead legally as it is emotionally. I'm not leaving. This is my house, too. Actually, it's not. I slide a legal document across the table. Quit claim deed. You signed over your interest in the house to me 6 months ago when we refinanced. Remember? You said it would be easier for tax purposes if everything was in my name. Her face goes white as she reads the document. You planned this. I planned for the possibility that my wife was exactly the person she turned out to be. Turns out boring, predictable husbands sometimes think ahead. You can't just throw me out of my own home. It's not your home anymore. It's mine, just like the bank accounts you can't access, the credit cards I've canceled, and the car that's registered in my name only. She stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time. Who are you? I'm the husband you created when you decided to treat our marriage like a game. I'm the man you turned me into when you chose humiliation over honesty, manipulation over communication. This isn't you, Nate. You're not vindictive. You're not cruel. You're right. The old Nate wasn't vindictive or cruel. The old Nate was a doormat who let his wife walk all over him while she ducked other men. But the old Nate died last night at Victoria Sterling's party. I stand up and walk to the front door, opening it wide. You have 1 hour to pack whatever you can carry. After that, I'm changing the locks. You can't do this. I can and I am. You wanted to explore your options, Marissa. Well, here are your options. Cal's apartment, Victoria's guest room, or a hotel room you pay for with money you earn yourself. She doesn't move. What about my things? My clothes, my jewelry, my furniture? What about them? They're mine. Prove it. Show me receipts for purchases made with your money, not our joint account that I've been funding for 8 years. The truth hits her like a physical blow. She's been living off my income while exploring her independence, using my money to pay for her affairs, depending on my financial support while treating me like an inconvenience. I have rights. You have the right to file for divorce and hope a judge is more sympathetic than I am. You have the right to hire a lawyer with money. You don't have to fight for assets you can't prove you own. You have the right to explain to a court why your husband should pay alimony to support the lifestyle you used to cheat on him. My phone buzzes with a text from Ray. Local news wants to interview you. Channel 7 at noon. I show Marissa the message. Looks like our story is getting some media attention. Hope you're ready to be famous. You wouldn't. I would and I will. This isn't just about us anymore, Marissa. This is about every husband who's been manipulated into accepting his own humiliation. This is about exposing the open circle and everyone who profits from destroying marriages. She finally understands that I'm not the same man who drove her to Cal's apartment 3 nights ago. That man wanted to save his marriage. This man wants to burn it down so completely that nothing survives. 1 hour, I repeat. Then the locks get changed. She goes upstairs to pack, and I can hear her on the phone, probably calling Cal or one of her open circle friends, looking for somewhere to land now that her safety net has been pulled away. While she's packing, I'm planning my next move. The local news interview is just the beginning. Ray's been fielding calls from divorce attorneys who want to use my video as evidence in their own cases, from men's rights groups who want me to speak at their events, from journalists who want to write articles about the open circle phenomenon. I'm going to say yes to all of them. 57 minutes later, Marissa comes downstairs with 2 suitcases and the look of someone whose world has collapsed overnight. This isn't over, she says. Yes, it is. Our marriage is over, your little club is over, and your free ride is over. What happens next is entirely up to you. I'll fight this. I'll hire a lawyer. I'll contest the divorce. I'll make sure you pay for what you've done. With what money? Your personal trainer salary? Your non-existent savings? Your ruined credit? She opens her mouth to respond, then closes it again. We both know she has no leverage, no resources, no options except the ones I'm giving her. Goodbye, Marissa. I hope Cal's abs are worth what they cost you. She walks out the door, and I close it behind her, turning the deadbolt with a satisfying click. Through the window, I watch her load her suitcases into her car, the car that's registered in my name, that I'll be reporting stolen if she doesn't return it by tomorrow. My phone rings. It's Channel 7 News. Mr. Lawson, this is Jennifer Walsh from Channel 7. We'd like to schedule an interview about your experience with the Open Circle. Would this afternoon work for you? This afternoon would be perfect, because I'm not done yet. Not even close. The real revenge isn't destroying Marissa's life. It's making sure no other husband has to go through what I went through. It's turning my humiliation into a warning, my pain into protection for other men. The open circle thought they were dealing with just another boring, predictable husband. They were wrong about that too. 3 months later, I'm sitting in a television studio in Chicago, waiting to go on a national talk show called America's Morning. The producer, a young woman named Sarah, who looks like she graduated from college last week, is explaining how the segment will work. We'll start with a clip from your original video, then bring you out for the interview. The host will ask about your experience with the open circle, what you've learned since the story went viral, and what advice you have for other men in similar situations. The story went viral beyond anything I could have imagined. The video from Victoria Sterling's party has been viewed over 2 million times. I've been interviewed by newspapers, magazines, podcasts, and television shows. The open circle has been exposed in cities across the country, with similar groups shutting down rather than face the kind of scrutiny I brought to bear. Victoria Sterling did lose her law license, though not because of anything I did. The State Bar Association investigated her business practices and found she'd been using the open circle to recruit clients for her divorce practice, creating conflicts of interest that violated professional ethics rules. Cal White's gym went out of business, but he's apparently found new career opportunities as a cautionary tale about the dangers of sleeping with married women. His story has been featured in several articles about the male fitness industry's predatory culture. Marissa tried to fight the divorce, hiring a lawyer with money borrowed from her sister. The lawyer took one look at the evidence I'd compiled and advised her to accept my settlement offer, which was generous considering she'd contributed nothing to our marriage except betrayal and humiliation. She's living in a studio apartment across town, working as a receptionist at a dental office, and dating a man she met on a dating app who doesn't know about her 15 minutes of internet infamy. Todd Peterson and Eric Kowalski both filed for divorce after seeing what I accomplished. They're doing better now, having learned that self-respect is more valuable than avoiding conflict. We meet for drinks occasionally, 3 men who discovered that fighting back was less painful than giving up. Mr. Lawson, Sarah the producer is back. We're ready for you. The studio lights are brighter than I expected, and the host, a woman named Amanda Chen, who built her career on empathy and understanding, greets me with the kind of smile that says she's genuinely interested in what I have to say. We're here with Nate Lawson, she begins, whose video exposing something called the open circle has sparked a national conversation about modern marriage, infidelity, and the ways couples navigate relationship challenges. Nate, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us what the open circle was and how your wife became involved? I tell the story I've told dozens of times now, but it still feels fresh, still carries the weight of genuine emotion. The audience listens with the kind of attention that comes from recognizing their own fears and insecurities in someone else's story. When you discovered what was really happening, why did you choose to expose it publicly rather than handle it privately? Because it wasn't really private. The open circle was a business that profited from destroying marriages. They had a system, a methodology for manipulating husbands into accepting their own humiliation. This wasn't about my wife having an affair. This was about an organized effort to normalize betrayal and make men feel guilty for objecting to it. Some critics have said your response was disproportionate, that you destroyed people's lives over what was essentially a marital problem. Those critics don't understand what the open circle really was. This wasn't a support group for couples exploring alternative relationship styles. This was a predatory organization that targeted vulnerable marriages and exploited them for profit. The people whose lives were destroying other people's lives first. What would you say to men who are watching this and recognizing their own situations? This is the question I've been waiting for, the reason I keep doing these interviews despite the personal cost. I'd say that you don't have to accept being treated with disrespect in your own marriage. You don't have to smile and pretend you're okay with being humiliated. You don't have to choose between your dignity and your relationship, because a relationship that requires you to give up your dignity isn't worth having. And to the women who might be involved in similar situations, I'd say that true intimacy requires honesty, and true love requires respect. If you can't be honest with your husband about what you want, and if you can't respect him enough to end your marriage before starting a new relationship, then you're not exploring your sexuality. You're just being cruel. After the interview, I drive back to my hotel through downtown Chicago traffic, thinking about how different my life is now compared to 6 months ago. I'm not the same man who discovered that note in his wife's purse, the man who drove her to her lover's apartment thinking he was being understanding. That man was afraid of conflict, afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over at 43. This man has learned that being alone is better than being with someone who doesn't value you, that starting over is better than staying stuck, that conflict is sometimes necessary for self-respect. My phone rings. It's Ray, calling from the office where we both still work, though I've been taking a lot of time off for interviews and speaking engagements. "How'd it go?" he asks. "Good. The host was fair, the audience was engaged, and I think I got the message across." "You know there's going to be backlash, right? There always is when these things go national. I'm ready for it." "Are you, though? This is going to bring out every men's rights activist and anti-feminist crusader in the country. They're going to try to turn you into a symbol for things you don't necessarily believe in." Ray's right, and I've been thinking about this problem for weeks. My story has attracted attention from groups whose politics I don't share, people who want to use my experience to promote agendas I don't support. "I can only control what I say and do," I tell him. "I can't control how other people interpret it. Just be careful, man. Fame is a weird thing, and it changes people in ways they don't expect." That evening, I'm having dinner alone in my hotel restaurant when a woman approaches my table. She's in her 40s, well-dressed, with the kind of confident bearing that suggests professional success. "Excuse me, are you Nate Lawson?" I nod, expecting another interview request or someone wanting to share their own story of marital betrayal. "My name is Linda Morrison. I wanted to thank you." "For what?" "My husband was involved with a group similar to the Open Circle in Denver. After your story came out, other women started coming forward, and the whole thing fell apart. He's in therapy now. We're working on our marriage. And for the first time in 2 years, I feel like I have my life back." She sits down without being invited, and I can see tears in her eyes. "I thought I was going crazy," she continues. "He kept telling me I was being paranoid and jealous, that I needed to be more understanding of his needs. The other wives in the group made me feel like I was the problem, like I was holding him back from personal growth. How are things now?" "Better. Not perfect, but better." He finally admitted what he'd been doing, and more importantly, he admitted that it was wrong. That's something I never thought I'd hear. Stories like Linda's are why I keep doing interviews, why I keep telling my story despite the personal cost. For every Marissa who refuses to take responsibility for her actions, there's someone like Linda's husband who recognizes the damage he's done and wants to make amends. "What's next for you?" Linda asks. "I'm writing a book about the experience, about what I learned, about how to recognize the warning signs of these kinds of manipulative relationships." "Will you talk about forgiveness?" The question catches me off guard. "What do you mean?" "I mean, do you forgive your ex-wife? Do you think forgiveness is important for moving on?" I consider this for a long moment. It's a question I've been avoiding, even in my own thoughts. "I think forgiveness is about letting go of anger so it doesn't poison your future," I say finally. "But I also think forgiveness doesn't require you to pretend that what happened was okay or to maintain a relationship with someone who hurt you." "So, you have forgiven her?" "I've let go of the anger, but I haven't forgotten what she did, and I haven't pretended that it was acceptable. There's a difference." Linda nods like this makes sense to her. "My husband wants me to forgive and forget, like none of it ever happened, but I can't forget, and I don't think I should have to." "You shouldn't. Forgetting would mean not learning from the experience, not protecting yourself from it happening again." We talk for another hour about marriage, betrayal, recovery, and the strange ways that public humiliation can sometimes lead to personal growth. When she finally leaves, I feel better about the path I've chosen, more confident that the pain I've experienced and shared has served a purpose beyond my own revenge. Back in my room, I open my laptop and continue working on the book that will tell the complete story of my marriage's destruction and my own resurrection. The title is The Night We Burned the Club, A Husband's Guide to Fighting Back. It's not a book about revenge, though revenge plays a part. It's a book about self-respect, about recognizing manipulation, about the difference between compromise and capitulation in marriage. It's about the moment when a man decides he'd rather be alone than be disrespected, and what happens next. The final chapter is about the future, about building a life based on honesty instead of convenience, about finding someone who values you for who you are rather than what you provide. I haven't found that someone yet, but I'm not looking very hard. I'm still learning how to be the man I became when I stopped being the man everyone expected me to be. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw you on TV today. You destroyed my marriage, and I hope you're happy. I delete it without responding. There will always be people who blame me for exposing what they were doing rather than taking responsibility for doing it. Their anger is proof that I made the right choice. Another text, this one from Todd. Great interview today. Emma signed the divorce papers. I'm free. And another from Eric. Starting to date again. Turns out there are women who actually appreciate honest men. Who knew? I close the laptop and look out the window at Chicago's skyline, thinking about how far I've traveled from the man who sat in his kitchen 6 months ago, drinking coffee that tasted like betrayal and pretending he didn't know what his wife was really doing. That man thought he had to choose between his dignity and his marriage. This man learned that some choices make themselves, and that sometimes the best thing you can do for everyone involved is to stop pretending that unacceptable behavior is acceptable. The open circle is gone. Victoria Sterling's law license is gone. Cal White's gym is gone. Marissa's comfortable life built on lies and manipulation is gone. And I'm still here, scarred but not broken, older but wiser, alone but not lonely. Tomorrow I fly back home to continue writing the book that will help other men avoid the mistakes I made and recognize the warning signs I missed. Next month I'm speaking at a conference for divorce attorneys who want to understand how groups like the Open Circle operate. But tonight, I'm just a man who fought back against people who thought he was too weak to fight, who exposed a lie that was destroying marriages across the country, who chose his own dignity over other people's comfort. The club is burned, the queen has fallen, the game is over, and for the first time in years, I'm exactly where I want to be.